Hello, everyone. This is Nidhi, your host for today. I hope everyone is doing great and staying safe. Welcome to yet another session to help you hone your knowledge and do better in your professional life. Today, we are discussing growth building, not growth hacking, with Jim Sterne. Today's event is brought to you by Designhill, world's leading creative marketplace that caters to the creative needs of businesses and individuals alike, who can source high quality designs from professional designers and buy unique products created by independent artists. Moving ahead, let me introduce our speaker for today. We have with us Jim Sterne. Jim focuses on creating and strengthening customer relationship through digital communications. He sold business computers to companies that had never owned one in the 1980s, consulted and keynoted about online marketing in the 1990s, founded a conference, Marketing Analytics Summit, and a professional association, Digital Analytics Association, in 2000s. Keynoted worldwide and wrote his 12th book on online marketing, Artificial Intelligence for Marketing Practical Applications. This is in 2010. And now he's helping companies get more value from data and helping small and medium sized agencies achieve scale at speed with 2y, 3x. Thank you so much, Jim, for joining us today. How do you feel to be here?
Oh, I'm delighted to be here and honored to be asked to participate. The Designhill archive of content is amazing, and I'm very delighted to add to it.
Very happy to have you here with us, Jim. So, great. Before we start the session, guys, as usual, I'm going to make the big announcement. We are giving away certificates to the attendees who will stick till the end of the session. You just can't miss this chance. Please stay tuned till the end. Also, you can take a screenshot of this event, put it on your Twitter handle, use hashtag Designhill Events, tag Designhill DH and Jim Sterne. That is the handle, Twitter handle of Jim Sterne. Um, all these handles will be in the chat box, so please do not worry. And what you get in return? One lucky winner will have a chance to win a print shop gift card worth $50. Having said that, let's quickly look at what Designhill is all about.
Need to get your parents off your back? Head to the world's #1 creative marketplace, Designhill.
When I started my photography business, I needed something that said this was more than just a hobby. It's not a hobby, Mom. That's why I went to Designhill and got an amazing logo super fast at a price I could afford. The process was easy using Designhill's logo maker. Just enter the name of your business, then pick out a number of designs that inspire you. I'll pick this one and that one looks cute. Then pick your colors or let the system decide. Add some more info like a slogan, the industry your business is in, and your budget. The logo maker, using machine learning and artificial intelligence, will design thousands of logo variants that you can choose from and adapt. In fact, I was able to get everything from business cards to t-shirt design and complete social media kit, all with the click of a button. With that, I'm all set. Now everyone I meet knows I'm a legit photographer. Even my mom. It's real. That's decaf.
Let the world know it's real and build your brand with Designhill.
All right, that was all about Designhill. We are set to start the session now. If you have anything, guys, that you would like to ask Jim, you know the drill. Do put it under the questions tab. We have also rolled out a few polls in the poll section. Don't forget to answer them. So, Jim, let's begin with the session. I'll quickly share the presentation for you.
There we are. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Well, thank you for inviting me. And again, I'm delighted to be here. And thank you all for joining today. I'm sure you've all heard about growth hacking. And I want to tell you why I hate that term. But first, I already had the introduction. I've been online marketing since '95, writing books about it, started a conference on analytics. The audience created the Digital Analytics Association. But today, I'm talking about my role with 2y3x, which is a consultancy program that helps people grow their company really fast. And it's based on a book written by Felix Velarde called Scale at Speed. And so this course today is a short course in what the book is about. the book completely describes how we do our consulting, how we deliver value to customers. And it starts with the fact that I just hate this growth hacking statement. It is, every time I see it, it's, if only we had a viral video, if only we had a great social media campaign, if only we had the perfect email template. And like, all of those things are important, but all of them are necessary. So if you're looking for one silver bullet, you're looking in the wrong place. This is not this. This is many lead bullets. They are not sexy. They are not exciting. They are absolutely necessary, however. And by the way, they're all things that you probably know already that you should be doing, sort of like flossing your teeth. It's not really cool and hip and exciting, but this is how you grow your business. And we do it because people have the same kinds of problems. Every founder of a company has to make every decision, from what logo to put on the t-shirt, to what do we call our different departments, and we start hiring people. Everything goes over the founder's desk, and that's not scalable. So learning delegation is a key piece of what we do. Every company hits plateaus. You get up and running, and it's just you. And you're at the kitchen table and you make it work. I've been through the same thing several times, and you reach a point where, okay, I really would like to have my nights and weekends back. Maybe I can get somebody to help me. And you start to build a company, and you as a group are up and running. And when there's like 5 or 10 of you, you can kind of read each other's minds. I mean, you're all in it together. You know what's going on, and you're all dedicated. You work hard on it, and it's great. And you're running, but you're not quite off the ground. For that, you have to get through that plateau of the group that's like 10 people, and let's make it 20 people. Oh, okay, well, if we can do that, then we're flying. But it's going to take different processes to go from 10 people to 20, and 20 to 40, and 40 to 100. And each of those plateaus is a natural spot for, we aren't going to get further than this because we did a really good job at getting here, but we can't get there. One of the reasons we can't get there is that we are firefighting all the time. It is reactive mode. We are trying to play catch up. So this is a framework for figuring out how to get ahead of everything. And finally, organizational development or alignment. If you're a small team, that's great. You're talking all the time. You're probably on an open Zoom call all day long. But when you're getting bigger, you have to delegate. You have to have people off in their own direction doing their own thing. And if they do that by themselves, if they do that with their own goals in mind and you're not aligned, you cannot scale. These are very common problems all across the board. So Felix created this 2Y3X program. It's a 2-year program that can triple revenue. We did triple revenue for 4.5 years with every client, and then COVID came along. So we don't say we do, we say we can. And this is based on decades of really smart business intelligence. People have been writing books for a long time. Some of these you know, some of these you've read, and every one of them has a nugget. So the 2Y3X program takes the nuggets from all of these books and puts it into a very structured program that goes over 2 years with a guarantee of doubling your revenue in 2 years. So here's the problem we face. Companies get stuck trying to get from one level to another. They have optimized for where they are, but then the business owner is really frustrated. We set these goals and we can't seem to get to them. So the first thing we do is we put together a small team, and it's to get people out of their rut, to get them out of their standard approach of, here's how we do things here. Well, there's the nugget from what got you here won't get you there. You've got to change everything. And it's really daunting. It's an overwhelming task to look at all the things that you need to improve at the same time. So companies end up with this problem of, all right, we want to grow the company. We want to get another 10% per year. And we say, okay, that's great, but you need a small core team. And that's based on the fact that smaller your team is, the more room there is to collaborate instead of just manage. Small team gets things done. And if you've read the 5 Dysfunctions of the Team or Lencioni's The Advantage, you know it's about the small team, because otherwise there's just, you're putting people on this growth team because they're your friend, or because you don't want to offend them, or because they've been there at the company at the longest. This team has to be made up of the absolute superstars. And the superstars are the ones who are going to make change happen. So the first thing we do is look at this target that people have. It's like, we want to grow by 15% or 10%, which is an admirable goal. But the problem is that if you reach for that one goal, then can you miss it a little bit, or you get gobbled up by the margin of error, you don't go anywhere. So we go to a huge goal, triple in size or in revenue, or double your profitability. And we do that because of goal theory. This is something that has been seriously researched. Edwin Locke has put together this concept that says, if you want to increase your revenue by 10%, well, we just need to work harder. We just need to put that goal, put it on the wall. We'll know it every day. We're going to work harder. Doesn't help you. If you say you want to triple your revenue, oh, okay, that we have to do something different. We have to change what we're doing. We have to work on this today. We also look at it over this 2-year period, because that's kind of reasonable. If you say, well, we're going to do this in 5 years, you can't predict what's going to happen in 5 years. That's science fiction. You can't guess that COVID is going to come along, or that there will be wildfires in California or another tsunami. You can't plan on that. 2 years, 3 years, okay, that's doable, but it's still a lot. But if you have this huge goal, people will actually get engaged and involved. Now, the first step is, what is your proposition? What does your company do for a living? What do you sell and to whom? What is your unique sales proposition? When you launch a new company or a new product, you've got that one chance to make a first impression, right? Hey, look over here, look at me. And everybody turns their heads and looks and says, well, what do you offer? And you have a clean statement of what you offer. And everybody looks and they get it, and then they go back to whatever they were doing, because you can't hold people's attention for more than 2 seconds. If you create curiosity and you can grab their attention, that's terrific. People will tune in just long enough to get the message, as long as the message is clean and crisp, as long as you can get to the point really fast. I mean, think about some of your favorite brands. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Federal Express, your package will get there overnight guaranteed. It's like, oh, I know what you do. It's that easy. So your brand promise has to be simple, credible, impressive, memorable, provable. It's not just a claim you make. You have to be able to prove that you can do this thing. Defensible, it's not just what everybody else is doing, but mostly this unique capability. It's got to be something that when people look at it, they say, right away, it divides them. It is polarizing. Oh, I understand what you do and I need it, or I understand what you do and I don't need it right now, but when I do, I'll remember that that was you. Now that's tough. If you're in an industry where there's 1 billion people doing the same thing you do, you have to come up with a twist. We do it in a unique way. If I said I provide business growth consulting, oh, okay, that's interesting. Lots of people do that. I have a 2-year program that can double your revenue, guaranteed. Okay, that's interesting. So I'll remember that. Tell me more. So we've got a huge goal, and we've got a clear proposition, which everything else, all of the marketing, all of the sales, all of your organization is going to be wrapped around what that thing is that you're offering. And then we come in with the growth team and we start creating little building blocks, little things that eventually add up. We put together these building blocks that, that stuff that you just haven't gotten to. So what do you have that you are working well with, but what do you not have? Do you have the data to know if your staff is efficient? No? Well, then we need timesheets. Do you know which of your products and services are profitable? If not, we need some rigorous margin metrics. Do you know if your bookkeeping and accounting are, grown up, or you're just doing sort of household budgets? Oh yeah, we're going to buy everybody new laptops when that client pays and we're feeling rich, is not the way to run a company. You need an actual budget based on actual forecasts. So each of these is a small building block, and it's critically important later. Otherwise, you can't scale. So we put in these building blocks, and over time, they add up so that you can do small growth bits that lead to giant leaps. And this is why it takes 2 years, because there's a lot of work to do. I mean, you're going to reach that huge goal. And in the last 5 years, we have never failed to double our revenue. Well, except for one client who, instead of getting to the top and hitting their target, they sold their company. So we can't claim we did it with every client, but most of our clients. So we've got these building blocks, and we do them bit by bit. They are absolutely fundamental, and they make all the difference down the line. And we do it by transforming the company. And my job is to tell you exactly how we do that. So I want you to understand this process so that you've got these three options. You can do it yourself. You can read the book and like really follow along and do it yourself, or you can get help from us. So here's how we do it. Sorry, my coworkers are excited about this presentation too. So here's exactly how we're going to help. We put together the strategy map, and the strategy map is based on the goal of the owner of the company. Let's say, now this is just an example, that the goal after 3 years is $1.5 million profit. So we're going to base that on a 20% margin, which is a goal in and of itself. So that means it's a revenue target of $7.5 million. If the company is doing $2.5 million now, this is a big goal. This is a big deal. So we also want a quality of service target. What does the company do for a living? Now, if you just want to make money, you can invest in Bitcoin and good luck to you. Or you can buy paper clips in Malaysia for a low price and sell them in Phoenix, Arizona for a high markup, if that's what you want to do. But chances are you don't. You have a product or a service you're offering, and you want to be the best in class, right? So your goal is to become Company of the Year in your sector. And you also want to be Company of the Year to work for. So here's an example. I have some friends. Oh, I'm sorry. I should explain. This is based on Balanced Scorecard, which I'm sure you've heard of. And if you haven't, run right out and buy the book. It's valuable. It's useful. Capgemini did their 3-year transformation map. Execution Maximizer has been doing it. We take the best bits of all of these and put it together in this format, in this framework. So I was going to say, friends of mine at Evolytics, at Evolytics, there are an analytics agency, and they won Top Analytics Agency of the Year 3 years in a row from the Digital Analytics Association. So this is recognition from their industry sector for doing outstanding work. That means their customers are really happy with them. That means they're doing stuff that impresses everybody else in the industry, and they win an award for it. But they also wanted to be a great place to work, so they wanted to get, Company of the Year from their employees. So they applied and won Fortune Magazine's Best Places to Work in the US. Great Place to Work got certified with their employees, 98% approval rating, and even Coolest Office Space. So they actively went out to find places where they could compete to win these awards in order to attract better employees. So that's not just a vanity, it is a tactic for hiring the best people, attracting the best people, and keeping people on board. So we've got these goals, and then we work backwards. So assuming that we're going to hit these goals at the end of 2024, what do we need to be doing in 2024 to make this all happen? So how many clients or sales does it take to deliver $1.5 million in profit? How do we start entering awards to win award contests? How do we measure employee engagement and satisfaction? So this is how we tee up all of this for what we're going to accomplish in 2024. We divide it into 5 streams. It's about people. It's about your customers. It's about sales and marketing, business processes, and corporate structure and finance. So, okay, let's start with making the money. How are we going to do it with these people? Well, in 2024, in order for the owner to do what they need to do, to accomplish what they need to accomplish, other people need to be running the company. So, for example, if you want to sell your company, that's a full-time job. So you need other people to run the company while you're out looking for a buyer. So we need the senior management team in charge. That's 2024. That means in 2023, we have to have this senior management team actively working and sort of in prototype stage to get used to the idea that they're going to be responsible, which means in 2022, we have to identify who those people are. That's the growth team, by the way. They're the people who are going to end up being responsible. And then, well, let's look at culture. If we want to get that Fortune Best Place to Work, we're going to have a killer culture in 2024. Then that means in 2023, we have to have a really good team. We need all A players. Now, if you're of a company of, a dozen people, chances are, statistics say, that you probably have 1 or 2 C players on your team. And you know who they are. They show up late. Their heart isn't in it. They don't deliver on time. They don't do what they say. They just kind of don't fit. And you need to have all A players in place in 2023 in order to have a great culture in 2024. That also means you have to have your incentives worked out properly. That means, what do you reward people for? How do you promote people? Okay, well, if we're going to do that in 2023, what do we need to do in 2022? We have to put together a hiring strategy, not just, hey, my nephew has a friend who knows how to do something. It's like, no, a formal process. We're going to create a job scorecard that describes the job. We're going to put it out, promote it in the world for we are hiring, post the job. We're going to have a formal process for how we interview and score and rank and make sure that everybody on the team gets a chance to talk to those people that they will be working with. We also need to put together a PDP, a professional development program. This is for recruitment and retention. This is, hey, if you come work for us, we are going to invest in you. We're going to find out what your goals are. We want to know where you want to be in 2 and 5 years. And we're going to make sure that when you come to this company, we're going to provide you with the support, the education, the time to accomplish those goals through a professional development program. And once people are on board and they see that that actually comes true, then that's great. Then we have people who want to stick around because they see the value of it. Okay, so what about clients? Okay, if we're going to get 1.5 million in profit, then in 2024, we need 12 clients at $500,000 each and 90% retention at our 20% margin. And in order for sales and marketing to work, we need a full pipeline and we need to have some marketing automation. Now, this is not something we can do overnight. It's not something we can even do this year. It's something we're going to plan on doing. For our processes, we want an enterprise resource planning system in place, ERP. We want a chief financial officer running our money for us in 2024. And then you back off all of that to 2023 and to 2022. And now you have a strategy map. And most people look at this strategy map and say, well, wait, Mr. Consultant, you're telling me I need to do all of these things. In which case the response is, there's too many things. It's overwhelming. It's just daunting. But here's the secret. Here's how it works. It works because in 2022, you don't have to worry about 2023 or 2024. So you take those right off the list right away. So there's 24 things you are not worrying about. And now we're going to look at all of those other things to see, okay, well, what do we need to do this year? And first, well, you have to understand, this plan doesn't work for the plan I just showed you. In fact, let me go back. Go ahead and take a screenshot of that if you like, but this is not your plan. This is a specific client, because this is not our plan for how you should run your company. This is your plan that you create. We help your growth team create this plan for you. This is not our ideas. This is what you know needs to be done. You can read all of the books and follow all the instructions, and it doesn't work for your company. You have to create your own plan. And then it's time to break it down. Whoops, there we go. It's time to break it down into bite-sized chunks, and that's what makes this whole thing possible. So you're only looking at 1 year. These are important things, they're critical things, but you can't do them all this month. You can't do them all this quarter. So we prioritized. Let's zero in on the first 5. Let's say it's these things. We need to describe what our jobs are. We need to create a customer satisfaction survey so we can measure whether or not our clients like what we're doing. We need to get our unique sales proposition together. We need to put together a lead generation program, and we have to identify our key performance indicators. As an example, this might not be you, but if it is, then we're going to break that down even further. We've got 5 tasks in the first quarter. The first quarter is made up of 3 months. So month 1, we've got 5 people on our team. We've got 5 tasks. That means we've got a quarter. One person has 3 months to put together job scorecards. 3 months to put together, somebody else, 3 months to put together the client satisfaction survey. Okay, well, how do I do that? We start with month 1. Now, the growth team usually has the owner on the team, but the owner is not the head of the team. They're the head of the company. The consultant is the head of the team. I'm the taskmaster. I'm the driver. I'm the one holding your feet to the fire. So I am going to assign, well, everybody chooses what task they want to do. They assign themselves. And then as taskmaster, my instructions are take 1 month and do research. What is research? Well, it means Google it, read the books, talk to your friends, talk to your mentors, and talk to the people in your company. So you want to create a job scorecard. Research means going to everybody in the company and say, well, what do you do? What is your task? How do you know you've been successful? In what ways do other people depend upon you to get that job done? And you create this job description with a scorecard that says you're going to deliver things on time. You're going to help other people with their tasks. And you find out very quickly that everybody in your company supports everybody else in the company. Nobody sits off in the corner and does a job by themselves. Everybody else is helping everybody else. I mean, even when it's time to sweep the floors and take out the trash, everybody in the company is responsible for throwing the trash in the trash can or the recycling can. They are helping the person who has to sweep up. And I know when it's a small business, we're all responsible for sweeping up. That's just true. So research the job scorecards, research customer satisfaction surveys. What kinds of surveys are out there? How might you implement it? What kinds of questions will help you understand whether or not you're actually delivering value to your customers? Now, here's where a customer satisfaction survey is so important. I'm going to ask you 6 questions, and just on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we doing? And it's, oh, you're doing great. We love your work. 10, 10, 10, 10. Well, you know that last one, that one area you just talked about? Yeah, that was kind of a 9.5. Yeah, you're doing great, but that we had a hiccup last month. Really, tell me more. And that brings to light problems you're having with customers before your customer just leaves. It tells you what problems you're having with all of your customers, so you can go to that department head and say, hey, people are starting to comment that we're not scoring really well on this area. So it's a early warning system. for how well your products and services are being received. You do your research. Month 2, you create the prototype. So here's what the job scorecards might look like. Now, the growth team is a monthly meeting. And as a consultant, I'm running that meeting. And after 1 month, you bring your research and present to everybody. And it's really remarkable. These teams are very cohesive. And they get that way pretty quickly because they understand that they're responsible for changing how the company does things. And they're going to work. Working together means that somebody creates a job scorecards and presents their research, and everybody says, oh, well, that's really interesting, but did you think to look here? Did you read that book? Did you talk to this person? And they, oh, no, I didn't, I guess not. And somebody shows their client satisfaction research, and it's kind of a lame presentation, and everybody goes, well, wait, what, didn't you understand the job? Didn't you understand the task? And when they come back with their prototype, everybody is like up-leveled because they know the rest of the team is really kicking it, and they need to kick it as well. Okay, so you bring forth a prototype. Here's what we did our research, and now we put together, here's what the job scorecards are going to look like. This is what the client satisfaction survey is going to look like, and we've tested it out. This is what everybody in the company has agreed to should be our unique sales proposition. We're all behind it 100%. Lead gen, here's the formal process we're going to go through. And I got to tell you, the best lead gen program in the world is what you are watching right now. Put on webinars, teach people, figure out what you do best, and teach your prospective customers how to do that, and they will see you as the expert. This is the way to get the message out and the way to build your email marketing list. And your email list is the heart and soul of your marketing. Your email list is golden. So offer value by teaching actual stuff. Oh, I can't teach people what I do for a living, though that's my business model. No, what they find out is it's really hard and they need you to do it because you're the expert, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm explaining exactly how we do this program. You could do it yourself. You might call me to help you with it. Prototypes come in and they get reviewed by the team. And then month 3 is rollout. A whole month to go to everybody in the company and say, here's your job scorecard. We want you to keep track of the work you're doing so that we can record against this scorecard. And by the way, when you do really well, here's the next level above you. And this is what the scorecard looks like for that job. So here's what your boss is responsible for. And here's what the owner of the company is responsible for. So everybody knows what everybody's doing. It is this idea of transparency that's so critical. And by the way, on this Growth Lab team, the finances are part of the transparency as well, because everybody is responsible for that 1.5 million profit, that $7.2 million revenue. They need to know, well, how profitable are we? Which customers are profitable? Which projects that we're working on are profitable or not? One of the first tasks that you do, maybe not the first quarter, well, definitely not the first quarter, maybe not the second quarter, but definitely before the end of the first year, you fire your worst customers. You have customers who are not profitable. They call all the time. They complain all the time. They want all kinds of changes that aren't in the contract. They're a pain and they're costing you money. Fire them. Let your competitors get their revenue sucked into the ground by those people. So the finances have to be visible to everybody. There's the process of, I'm sorry, I got distracted by the pop-up as well. So yes, you can go through to 2i3x and learn more about this, but not yet. I'm going to dismiss that. So thank you, Arshita. So month 1, month 2, month 3. And after 3 months, guess what? These things are done. They're finished. They are the first step, that first tiny box on the way to that serious growth. So now it's time for the second quarter. Okay, well, let's look at all of these and what are we going to do next? Which are the next most important things to do? And you pick those, and in 3 months, you've got those done. And before you know it, you're growing and growing and growing. Now, this works because everybody has these plateaus. They hit these difficult spots. The analogy I like to use is you're climbing a hill and you get high enough on the hill that you hit an ice patch. And you slip and you slide and you climb up and you crawl up a little bit and you slide back down, and it's just frustrating. And you can spend a year on that ice patch until somebody comes along and says, hey, there's these things called crampons, and you put them on the bottom of your shoe and they grab the ice. And here's a rope, and you can hold onto the rope and use the crampons, and now you can climb on ice. Like, I didn't know that. And it makes perfect sense. And it's not like I didn't know. I just didn't take the time. I didn't implement it. Everybody hits these plateaus. So what's important is to change what you're doing, because what you're doing is optimized for how you are and where you are now. But what got you here won't get you there. So you have to reach out to somebody else. Now, why is it only 2 years? Why not just continue and help the company grow and grow and grow? Because after 2 years, you have learned how to do the process and you don't need a consultant anymore. I've already taught you everything that I mean, you need other consultants who can teach you other things that you don't know. But this program is about teaching you how to improve. It works because huge goals are exciting. They're, you know, if you take your company, you've been doing the company for 5 years, 10 years, and everybody's like, well, no, we like the company. We like you. We enjoy doing what you're doing, but we're just kind of doing the same thing. Say, okay, you, and you, we're going to get together in a team and we're going to change how we get things done. Well, gee, why did you pick me? Secret sauce here. The growth team, it's your superstars. It's not the people who've been in the company the longest. It's not your best friends. It's not the people that you get along with the most. It's the people who have fire in the belly. It's the people who are, frankly, you know that in 5 or 10 years, they're going to be running their own company. I mean, she might be 23 years old, but she just knows how to get stuff done. She's on the team. He's been with the company a long, long time, but you know what? He's really dedicated to making a difference. He's on the team. You take these people and you say, we have this enormous goal. You're going to be on the team that's going to help us get there. We're going to change everything here. And everybody's eyes light up and they get excited. And if they're not excited, they don't belong on the team. But you give them a big goal and you show them how it's possible, and it becomes possible. They start living up to the dream. They start delivering, and people get really excited. And it takes about 6 months before the team is really gelled and really rolling, because they're just learning how to do the process at first. I mean, the first month or two is kind of wonky. What are we doing here? How are we doing this? And then they learn how, and it gets great. It's sort of like acting like a personal trainer. You know you're supposed to eat less and exercise more, but which exercises specifically and how much and how often and what should your scaling be for lifting weights and doing sit-ups and all that stuff. I'm the professional trainer. I cannot do the work for you. I can help you figure out what work to do, and I can encourage you, and I can show you how to put together a plan. And guess what? After a couple of years, you know how to do this yourself. This is the psychology part. This is what actually got me to buy into this. I have had a 25-year career of online marketing, 20 years in online analytics. I've been running the Digital Analytics Association, and I've been running the Marketing Analytics Summit for many, many years. That's been my career. And I saw this process and I got so excited. I said, I want to do this, because as a consultant, it's ridiculous fun. It is helping people become their better selves. It's awesome. But the thing that just hooked me completely is the psychology of it. This is not my roadmap. This is not Felix Velarde's idea of what you should do. This is helping you create your own plan that fits you and your industry and your team and your customers in your current situation. And because you build it, you own it. And that makes it successful. It's your plan. It's not, oh, well, we got to go to chapter 3 and do whatever it says there. No. We've got to do the thing I invented. Please, everybody, let's work together. And that's the other thing that happens. The rest of the company, I mean, the first day that you put a growth team together, the rest of the company,
Uh, I think I'm not sure. I think there's a network issue with Jim. Uh, let's wait for another few seconds for him to come back. Guys, I want to request you all to please ask your questions in the questions tab. I know that the presentation is a really insightful one, but please do not forget to ask your questions in the questions tab. We also do have a list of questions, but we would love if we can pick questions from the questions tab asked by you. So
am I back? Can you hear me
yes,
now?
yes, I can hear you. Not a problem. Absolutely.
The
Can you hear
joys
me?
of the internet.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Clearly, yes.
All right. All
Can
right.
can
Amazing.
you
Not a
tell
problem.
me, can you tell me where I left off?
It's on slide 56.
Okay. So a quick recap. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, sorry. Everybody hits these plateaus. You grow to a certain point where you know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. So this program is about helping you find those things you didn't know and building them yourself. Huge goals are really exciting. And if you bring together a team and say, we're going to triple the revenue of this company and these 5 people are going to be responsible for it, they get excited. Their eyes light up. And if their eyes don't light up, they don't belong on the team. This program works because it's self-designed. This is not a rule book. It is not a formal do step 1, step 2, step 3. Turn to chapter 3 and do exactly what it says. It's not like that. This is your plan that you create for your customers in your situation with your team. And it is unique. Every one of these growth maps that we've created is completely different because these are different people. The fact that this is your plan that you created is the psychology behind why it's successful. And here's the interesting part. People get together on this team, they're excited about it, and then the rest of the company goes, well, who are these people? What are they doing in the conference room? Or how come you're having these growth lab team meetings on Zoom that we don't know about? What's going on in there? Why didn't you invite me? And you say, well, are you interested in recreating all of our corporate workflows? Do you want to help us map out a human resources program? Are you interested in redesigning our job scorecards? And they go, yeah, no, I got a job already. Thanks very much. And they you guys do that. That's fine. But then after a few months, the people who are doing the growth team work go out to the rest of the company and say, hey, I am trying to do X. I am trying to do the scorecards. I'm trying to create a new way of doing accounts receivable. Can you help me? And eventually everybody gets involved in building the company. And the fact that the team is inventing this plan themselves, it's not, oh, I have to do my homework. I have to do the thing that's in chapter 7. It's, oh, I need to do the thing that I invented. I am going to make this work because I'm responsible for this thing. And when I take it back to the growth lab team in a month's time, they're all going to look at it and I'm on the hook for making this work. And it also works because small aligned teams move mountains. This is the critical piece. They are they work backwards from the goal, and that creates the viability. They're aligned. They have designed it themselves, and they have learned how to do critical thinking. And critical thinking just pays off and pays off and pays off. If I see this goal in the, I want to climb to the top of the mountain, I can't do it in a day. But if you map out, well, first you go to base camp, and then we're going to stop here, and then we're going to stop here, and we're going to stop here. Okay, all I need to worry about is getting from here to here, but I know the goal is in mind. That's why this works so well from a psychological perspective. This is a team that is mutually responsible and working together. They have alignment because they're working so closely together. They are completely dedicated to helping each other and make it all work. And that's how it all pays off. So I encourage you, visit 2i3x and check out more of the story. Go ahead and get the book. In the US, it's available on Kindle and audio, and it's coming out in September. Get in touch with me. We've also created a scorecard. It's like 4 or 5 minutes where you just answer a few questions about where are you in your process? Where are you in your finances? Where are you in your customer satisfaction? And it gives you some tips about where you might go. And I think we have a pop-up for that.
Yes.
If we can get that one, good. So you can click through to that one right now. And I wanted to offer up opportunity to answer questions.
All right.
Tell me, what have we got question-wise?
Amazing. So the session was so insightful that I almost forgot to run the mid-roll, and we are already 48 minutes into the session. So we'll skip the mid-roll and we'll quickly jump to the questions. We don't have many right now, but I'm sure, but I have a list of 350 questions if you ask me. I mean, from the registrants list. We may not be able to take all of them. Obviously, we can't take all of them, but we'll try to make it a good mix. This question is by May Anna Sales. She says, different countries and companies have different work culture and management. How would this be applicable and doable to all?
Completely. Sorry, I've got some noise in the background, so I'm going to lean in on this one. This is completely applicable all over the place. Because it is your plan for your company and your situation.
Yeah.
2i3x has a dozen consultants. I happen to be in California. We have people in London. We have people in Dubai. We have people in Zimbabwe. We've got people in Milan. And we find the consultant who is a good cultural match and the consultant who is a good industry match. So if you are a manufacturer, one of our consultants in Brussels has a very deep manufacturing background. If you are an advertising agency, well, that's where Felix got his start. So he's a master. He's started and sold half a dozen businesses, so he knows how that works. But it's also cultural. I had a client who is a hospitality industry in Milan, and it turned out, one of our consultants in Dubai has been in the hospitality industry forever and ever. So that's a good match. So the cultural issue is not how does the program function, but how does the consultant communicate? So it's a wonderful question. Thanks.
All right. The next question is by Keisha. For smaller, so we have a few questions in the registrant list as well about the smaller businesses. And since Designhill business community, they are largely early age startups, we have a few questions on that front. So for smaller businesses, does this strategy work? Also, what would be your advice for someone who has limited capital on them, generally startups?
Yes. So we do have a 3-month program. It's the startup Kickstart, but that's for companies that are, the startups that are looking to get funded by venture capitalists. So that's a separate story. For solopreneurs, this is a great program for you to just run with. The Kindle book is I think it's $9. And if you just look at the materials on the 2i3x website, there's enough information there. for you to build a plan. Now, the single most important thing for you to do first is your proposition. You are a designer. You are one of many. What do you do that's unique? What do you do that's different? What do you do that if I say, that somebody will Google, and what are they're searching for? Oh, I need a logo. Well, if I Google new logo design, I'm going to end up at Fiverr, and fine, but that's not what you want. Maybe you want to be known for designing logos in a specific industry, or logos that are, I'm looking for a logo that includes an animal, something that is unique, something that you can stake your flag in the sand and say, this is what I do. That's number one. Number two is, what kind of clients do you want? Well, I'm just looking for anybody who will give me money. Okay, well, that is scratching at the surface. That's fine, but it's not a plan. A plan is, I want customers who are going to hire me to do not just the logo, but all of the design for all of their materials, for their online ads and their print ads. I want them to hire me to design, to do their websites and to do their the trade show booth when we get to gather together again in person. What is it? What does the ideal client look like, and where do you find them? Identifying a big goal forces you to think about, okay, how am I going to get there? I'm going to need X number of clients in such and such a time paying me so much money. Where am I going to find them? What is my lead generation process going to look like? And you do your research. Today, in my day, I went to the library and I read the books. Today, I go to Google. What's the best lead generation process? What's the best way to identify prospective customers? What's the best way to do outreach? So if you're uncomfortable doing webinars, start your blog. Yeah. And your blog will reveal to people what your values are, what your process looks like, where you feel your talent is, and you will make a name for yourself. And the killer here, the kicker, is to be unique. So maybe you can be unique geographically. I am the best person in my city to do this thing. I am the best person in my country to do this thing. That, if it's true, it's not bragging. If you can prove it, if you've got customer testimonials, and if you've got a long list of projects you've worked on, that's great. If you don't, I am, and please don't be the least expensive. I am the best value for money. I may be a little more expensive than others, but the value will be higher. I could go on, but
right.
You've got 183 other questions.
Yes, amazing. Right. So the next question is by Shams Muhammad, and he's asking more on the, for personal brands, what will be the process of growth building for personal brands?
It's the same. Start with a goal. What's the purpose of your personal brand? I want to get a job. I want to be recognized as an influencer. I want to be asked to speak at conferences. You have to have a goal in mind. I want to be rich and famous. Okay, describe that. How rich and how soon? If you say, I want to build a company that's making $1 million a year, it's like, good. That's a good goal. You can do that. You have to hire people. Oh, that means you need to get financing because you don't have cash right now. Okay, that means you need to put together a business plan and take it to the bank or take it to investors. Whatever your goal is, you can back it off. I want to be famous. Well, in what way? And for how many people? I want to be the biggest thing on TikTok. Okay, well then you've got a different road to go down. I want to make $20 million in my first year. Well, I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. You'll have to find a different consultant who can make that promise. I can't do that.
Right. So, since we are in the middle of a pandemic, and a lot of businesses got impacted because of that, we have a lot of questions around that as well. So, I'm not sure if I'll pronounce the name correct, but Peter Polygalov asks, what should be the mindset in these new times, and what is the average time in these times that will uh, be good for average time for growth to be seen?
The most important thing is that you need to focus on the short term. It's great to have goals, but your plans have to be immediate. You cannot do year over year comparison of, well, last year we did this, so this year that, because last year was completely upside down. Before that, I mean, 2019 was normal, and 2020 was bizarre, and 2021 we're all scratching our heads and trying to figure out what's next. And what's next is what you can do right now to help your clients. And that's kind of the magic. Well, I was going to say silver bullet, but rule of thumb.
Right.
Figure out how to help people achieve their goals. How are you going to help your customers achieve their goals? Well, I'm going to design a new website for them. Well, okay, but their goal is not that they want a new website. Their goal is that they want to improve revenue. Their goal is that they want to increase visibility. So talk to them about those goals and think in terms of your customers' goals. Think in terms of what they want to accomplish and how can you help them, and what value does that bring. So when we go to a larger company, a company of 20 people that's already doing $1 million, and they want to triple their revenue to $3 million, and we ask them for a lot of money for this program, it's expensive because we deliver incredible value. It's not about how much time I put in. Okay, quick short story. There's a guy who works at a factory for 25 years and he retires. And the day after retirement, the machine stops working, the factory stops, and they call him up and say, you got to come in and fix it. And he walks from one end of the factory to the other, and he stops in the middle. He finds a screw and he turns the screw a quarter in, and it all starts working again. That's great. Thank you so much. How much do we owe you? He says, $50,000. What? You were only here for 15 minutes. I was here for 25 years. So think in terms of value, not in terms of time.
Right. That's a really good way of putting it. All right. So we have last two questions. One is industry specific. Chaitanya asks how to build community in edtech space, education technology space for subject matter experts. Any tips on that?
Building community is a tough one. And I don't mean it's impossible. It's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
You have to create a space where the people that you're trying to attract will come and participate. So you start by asking them to post something, anything. I mean, an opinion mostly, because if you post an opinion, somebody else will have an opinion, and then a conversation starts. But as a community manager, your job is to nurture the conversation, to encourage people to participate, to make sure that it stays interesting enough that they invite their friends to say, hey, there's this interesting conversation. Or they tweet, oh, I just saw, or they write a blog post, or they post a link on LinkedIn to your space to say, oh, there's this interesting thing going on over here. And in business, LinkedIn's not a bad place to hang out. If you're more literate, you might build your own blog, or or find some online magazine where you can post to and hope to get comments on your article. But bringing people together to talk about a specific topic and express their opinions, something that is, well, not sensational, but at least it's energizing, is how to begin.
Right. I think I kind of identify with all of that because a community manager myself, I do that on a daily basis, and I know how tough it can get and requires a lot of patience. But thank you so much for that insight, Jim. I'm going to take the last question. which is actually not a question. People want to know if there are any book suggestions on this topic on growth that you can share with them. And I think one of the answer is actually lying on the table right behind you. So
Yes.
suggestions, yeah.
So Scale at Speed by Felix Velarde describes what I just went through. But it depends on where you are in your growth curve. I mean, there's books about startups. There's books about building teams. There's books about being a corporate coach. There are books about, in fact, I'll give you a shortcut for marketing. There's a wonderful podcast called the Marketing Book Podcast.
Okay.
And this guy has interviewed, I don't know, more than 150, I think now, people who have written books about marketing. And you can turn it up to faster speed and listen to the author talk about his book, so you don't have to read the book, and the podcast is free, so you don't have to buy the book, but you will get the best bit out of it for marketing.
All right. And I it's a little unbelievable that the session is over, but yes, it is over now. This is the end of the session, guys. It was a really wonderful session with Jim. Very much value packed. There's a lot more that we could have learned. Unfortunately, we are limited by time here. We've already exceeded the time limit, by the way. I hope you guys loved the session, because I personally did. Once again, I would like to thank Jim for taking out the time to be a part of this event. Jim, any last words?
Big goals, and plan your work and work your plan. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jim. It was really nice to have you here with us today. But guys, this is not where it ends. We have a lot more events lined up for you in the coming days. If you guys are interested, haven't registered yet, Harshita, my colleague, will be putting up the links of the event section in the chat box. Please go there and register yourself to watch this session and other such wonderful sessions. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link will be there in the chat box again. Also, check out our Learn page to feed your inspiration and creativity. You can multiply your business and creative growth 10 times by learning tips, hacks, growth stories, expert advice from the industry's best. Visit Designhill Learn page. The link will be there on the chat box again. We have recently launched a Designhill design tool called Studio, where you can create designer sets for yourself and for your businesses. Do check that out as well. The link will be in the chat box again. On that note, I would like to say bye to everyone who joined us here today. Take care, guys, and stay safe. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.